All right. What's up, everybody, and welcome back. We are going to be doing a first-person view cast today of one of the best players in the world, Serral, the man who, of course, is a two-time world champion, and he's actually been streaming a fair bit recently. We've got a banger of match here between him and MaxPax on the ladder. MaxPax already blocking his natural, and we get to see what it's like to be one of the most solid Zergverse Protoss players in the world. Remember, Showtime, MaxPax, the top guys in Europe, they hate playing Serral. Hero, not a fan of having to play against Serral either. Serral did 2-0 him at Katowice, even though he did end up falling to Ragnarok in the round of 8. His ZVP looked absolutely stellar. On the other hand, MaxPax has had some very good Twilight openings lately. He's been showing really good variety with the ground focus play. And I think he makes it very hard for Serral to know what's going to come next. Whereas with Stargate openings, I think Serral is such a master of getting ahead against it. So we're going to see exactly how he handles it. And we are going to appreciate the blistering speed of Serral. If you guys want to check him out, of course, twitch.tv/Serral. Check down below the stream in the description, or the YouTube video in the description, sorry, for the link. And go check out his stream. Give him a sub. The fact that we've got guys like him streaming more is amazing. He's actually been chatting a lot more while he plays as well. Obviously, I'll be talking over the top of him because it's way too hard otherwise. So we've got him pretty quiet there. And I'll actually turn him down a little bit more as well, since his voice is so much louder than the gameplay, to make sure that doesn't compete. Hopefully the audio garbles not too much, gang. He's going to be going for that third base. It's been having a mixed set of games right from the start of this stream, for those who weren't watching it. And this was played just 10 hours ago from when I'm casting this, by the way. He actually was like winning games and going, this game was so bad, you know, from both of us. Like he'd often say, like, no matter who he was playing, is like, he's like winning and he's like, oh man, I played so bad. But I mean, my opponent also played so bad, you know, these aren't good games. It's been interesting to see kind of where his comfort zone is. I noticed that like when he was playing Roaches versus Terran, he said it felt a bit more relaxing. But he was definitely struggling with Adepts and different versions of Gateway and Twilight pressure coming in early on in CVP. So we'll see how he handles it in this game. He's got that Queen out front at the third. He went for the Inject rather than the Creep Tumor, which does make it a little harder to defend these Adepts. Oh, great. Pullbacks on the Zerglings. But, ooh, MaxPax Focus Fire was good. Has to pull 2 drones to fight there. You might be wondering, why does he target the Zerglings instead of the drones? Well, they were going up front. He knows that Serral is good enough. He'll never actually lose a drone. He can always turn them into a Spore at the last second, but it's unlikely to be like that the other way around. And there we go. If he can get the Zergling count low enough, then he can go after the drones. He's already taken out a whole bunch of them as MaxPax. No creep spread yet. Yeah, Serral's a little bit upset that he doesn't have any creep down yet.
Wait, what am I saying?
It's funny as well because he's so not used to commentating while he plays, but he's been doing it more and more. You can tell he's making a real effort, and it's kind of fascinating to have him explaining things. He says, I didn't lose any drones so far, so I think I'm okay. And I do agree. It looks pretty clean for me. I mean, this is cleaner than any opening I've ever done. Spore Crawler going down on the natural. That's interesting. Normally people move queens down to the natural, but he's going to keep the queens in the main and the third. He's saying he might be doing glaives or something. I'm really not sure. And no, it is an Oracle. Sneaky Oracle came in all the way along the back. Oh, those Spore tricks are so crisp. I think he only lost 1 drone. That was really, really slick. Especially with the Oracle coming from a surprising angle. To defend that well is incredible. Got some lings. He could try and counter pressure that third base, but with the Oracle spotting it.
The early games, to be honest, it's pretty bad already.
He says it's pretty bad already. I've had better early games than this.
I'm just gonna delay, not make Roach Warren because how bad this is going.
Okay, so he says it's going so bad, I've got to delay the Roach Warren. For those who don't know, Roach Warren is not really necessary unless you're planning to do a big attack or defend a big attack. He's basically saying, look, if there's a big follow-up to this with like Twilight, Glaive Adepts, probably going to be screwed. I'll have to defend with just Zerglings and Queens because my Roach Horn is so late. But he figured if it's not that, and he builds the Roach Horn, he'll be so far behind he'll lose anyway. So he said, look, I'm going to take a little bit of a risk to get back in this game. And that's exactly what high-level players do. When they fall a little bit behind, they make those adjustments on the fly so that they can actually try and drag their way back into the game. Spore Crawler is now up on each basis, but with 3 Oracles coming in, 1 Spore and 1 Queen isn't really enough. So you can see he's trying to posture up out front. The Queen does a good bit of tanking, still loses a few drones though. I'm surprised he didn't pull the drones back earlier. At the end of the day, though, those oracles are all heavily wounded, and he didn't lose too many. He's getting an Evo chamber. He's got a very quick 4th hatchery as well, which tells us, I think he's saying, look, Oracle into Blink is standard. If I can mass Zerglings, that's great, but Zerglings are very lava intensive. I need a 4th hatchery, and probably want to start injecting that as soon as possible as well to try to get that up. Roach speed there. We're going to try and get some drones on gas on the 3rd base and the natural. So it's going to be a 5 gas style, probably Roach Ravager Ling Bane, I would imagine. He could play Roach Hydra into Lurker, but not a big fan of that style. It's not very mobile. So if you attack, it's like almost, it's too committed. It's not flexible enough. It's easy for them to defend. On the other hand, he goes +1 range.
Doesn't have an expansion yet. If he doesn't, I mean, he could have. Okay, he's making gases already.
Okay, he checks that there's already gas up on the 3rd, which means the Protoss can't be hitting him with too hard of a gateway timing. Oh, he just sent his Lings out, but he didn't actually send them in the right position. You could see he split those onto a different control group. He's going to lose a few drones to that. Stasis traps are going to scare back his roaches. The adepts do go down. Wasn't the end of the world. He didn't lose too many drones. Pretty good crisis management overall. Infestation pit going down shows us he wants to play straight to lurkers. He wants to go hive. So that's going to be really fascinating. Vipers obviously coming at hive, counters, disruptors, and colossus. He's also got lurker tech coming in then with the lurker upgrades that are so important if you want to play those lurkers. He's got 8 drones up on that 3rd. Oh, and you know what? He was scouting for the 2 4th bases in the wrong position, but it was actually the front 4th that ended up getting taken by the Protoss player. So he's frantically droning up his 6th gas, trying to fully drone the 4th base. He realizes he needs to catch up on economy. Remember, Serral's a front-on player. He's not a cheeky guy. He likes to have an economy that's equal or better than his opponent. He doesn't like to take big risks with that, though. So he often does find himself slightly behind and just doing everything he can to catch up on that work account. Hive's on the way, 8 gases are on the way, and that lurker den going down. If you want to go lurkers, you always want to start the lurker den soon after the hive, if not at the same time, so you can immediately start those upgrades when the hive's done. Queen looks like it gets sniped there. He's going to try and jump on top of this. The Lings in front are very important to set off any stasis traps. And it was only a few Lings that got frozen, so not too bad, but those Stalkers just keeping him pinned back, applying pressure.
No supply whatsoever here.
He says, I've got no supply whatsoever. He just really feels behind in this game. Serral does not like playing from this position. He'd much rather have a healthy economy behind this and a big army advantage. But he can't really get anything. Gets a Stalker, runs away, trying to respread creep. He's just in survival mode. He knows that the Protoss could overwhelm him. He can't really take any big risks. He's going to split a few Lings off for a run by.
He's an awfully far behind here, but it's okay. I have lurkers coming.
I would say the way Serral plays, defensive, overly so almost, looks stressed when he's not ahead, when he's behind. I would say these are bad habits, but it's Serral, and I know that he uses that obsession with hunting down the road to perfection, and it's what's paved his way to greatness. He's unsatisfied with anything but perfect play in a perfect situation. And whilst obviously we were critical of him in his, the controversial match versus Ragnarok that we won't ever stop talking about. I'm sorry, guys. I know some of you want to stop hearing about it, but it's just one of those things where I think in this matchup, he knows that he has such good late game. He'll be able to just defend and survive, and he should be able to take anyone down in the later stages. Lurkers and Roaches are here. Lings are backstabbing. Okay, he's got to just try to knuckle down. It's a big Stalker army on the north, though. He only has 1 Lurker in position right now. More Lurkers are moving over. Looks like the Lurker upgrades aren't all fully finished yet. Okay, looks like a Stargate transition is underway for the Protoss player.
It seems to have a pretty big hit there and lost a lot of supply.
Second Evo chamber. He's going to start double upgrades. Disruptors are here. He needs Vipers. Uh-oh. He's got to watch out. Already pulling back those Lurkers, expecting a ball to come flying his way. Does get 1 Lurker clipped, but mostly dodging. Really nice micro. I gotta say, defending in this scenario is one of my most hated aspects of StarCraft 2. When you're pinned back and your opponent has all the map vision and they're picking where and when the fights happen, this is what most Zergs hate. We find this incredibly stressful, but Serral is so good at just surviving in these scenarios, and I like the way he's trying to use these ledges with his Lurkers to make it very awkward for Protoss. He's got some Lurkers on that low ground shooting down. Oh, but it does kind of expose them. And I think a good trade for Max Packs there. It does take out a few of the Lurkers, or one of the Lurkers puts 1 deep in the red. Zerglings are still ready for a run by on the bottom, but remember, I don't think he has melee upgrades. I'm pretty sure he's going Carapace right now, though maybe he is rounding it out with melee. He's going to try and start expanding a little more, and as long as his 5 base is okay, he's doing a-okay for now. But He's going to have to transition, right? With carriers coming out, he doesn't really want to be building Hydras and get stuck on that. He's going to need to transition to Broodlords for ground, Corruptors for air, Infestors, and then maybe Vipers as well to counter any of those smaller air units, as well as just support everything on the ground and the air. Zealots are going to defend that bottom side with battery overcharge. Oh, balls come a-flying, and they do take out some of his units, but he kind of wants to trade here, does Serral. He's going to try and take advantage on the north side of the map, but maybe a little too slow to do so. It's not that many lurkers. They don't have support, and you can see there he pulls all but one back. He leaves one lurker in the top. He's sighing and shaking his head. He knows that attack did not go well. And he's really upset at himself for taking that risk and for putting himself in this position. Now he's got a mass spore crawlers. Oh, I don't know if anyone who enjoys turtling with spore crawler lurker versus carriers, guys. This is a tough position. The Protoss gets to go first. They get to pick where and when the fights happen. It's so difficult. But he is trying to get those spores up, trying to defend the south side. Army in the north, he's got to be careful of it. More lurkers are making. He's got a few corruptors as well. Serral does not like to leave his control groups visible, unfortunately. Likes that little bit of this green view clear, so we can't see exactly what they are. But I can usually figure out, just from what he's tabbing through, exactly what he has on what control group. Main army, Ling, Lurker. Secondary key will be Corruptor, Viper. And I don't think we have any Infestors or Broodlords on the field just yet. They'll be coming in later if he can survive. But right now, Protoss has the entire side of the map to himself and is at least on equal economy, quite likely higher economy. And for Serral, you have to do an impossible balancing act. You want a lot of drones here so that you're building bank for the late game. But you need a lot more anti-air. You've only got a few Corruptors and Vipers. Those carriers are a very real threat, and their number can grow very quickly because you don't know how many have just popped out of Stargates and are rallying across the map. On the other hand, there's a lot of disruptors. Those disruptors can deal with the lurkers. If you've got to dodge those disruptor shots, or you're going to be in trouble there as well. Notice how he's pre-spreading the lurkers, so at least there's not a big juicy target. If he happens to be looking elsewhere, it should be okay. Oh, armies in the north. Oh, God, oh, God, oh, God. That's a lot of disruptors. And look at that. Good dodge on those lurkers, but the spores are going down. He's using this very well. Is MaxPax picking away at that spore road. There's only a few spores left there. Very little anti-air. Ling's poking on that northern base. That is 6 base Protoss at least.
A lot of bases, but it doesn't really matter when you take the bases.
Serral says that is a lot of bases, but, you know, it doesn't matter when you take the bases as long as you do eventually take them and mine them out. So he's basically saying, I'm playing the long game. I've just got to survive long enough that economy advantage doesn't matter. Ooh, abducts a few disruptors, but I don't know if he has enough lurkers to even kill them. There's so many disruptors, stalkers, and archons coming forward. Oh God, oh God, oh God. I think he's being broken. He's still got some lurkers alive, though. Some of the lurkers survived a bit further back. Oh, okay, he's going to come in. He grabs a carrier. Can he get the 2? He split fires. The corruptors go after 2 carriers. He only gets 1 of them, but he does manage to hold on. That Ling Bane coming in on the ground, even though they were slow, Banelings was absolutely crucial. And here we go. Lurkers trying to shuffle forward. Nice dodges on these lurkers, trying to make sure they move around. Each time, only letting a single lurker. Sometimes none of them get hit by those disruptor shots, as they have often been killing the disruptors before the shot fires. Oh, that's a lot of units. There's still 2 Archons left on the ground. The Zealots coming in as well. Oh God, so many lurkers going down. Queens, everything. The hatchery looks like it's going to fall as well. But wait, there's only 2 Archons to shoot the Corruptors. He gets a carrier. Can he get 2? Not quite. Only gets 1 of those, and the hatchery survives. Serral, you can tell he's kind of breathing out heavily and kind of go, ooh, like he just was pressed to the limits of his abilities. You can tell from his expression, he's incredibly focused, but he's also very stressed in this scenario. He knows he's got very little room for error. 1 or 2 big mistakes, and he's out of this game. Needs 1 Overlord right now, as he's at 196 supply.
My defensive spot a lot with that move.
I'm going to try and rewind that and hear what he said there.
Weakened my defensive spot a lot with that move.
That weakened my defensive spot a lot with that move, he's saying. Because he lost all of the spores up there on the north, his bottom side, he doesn't have as many lurkers there. He's trying to remax and reposition, but he feels like his army's not well set up right now. He doesn't have enough spores on either side, and he doesn't have enough lurkers. So he's got a few Broodlords, but they're kind of stuck in the middle, and he's just trying to quickly move wherever they're needed. But something like a Warp Prism in his main would probably kill him right here, because he just doesn't have many mobile units. He has a few Zerglings, and that's about it. Luckily for him, the Protoss has let their foot off the pedal, so to speak, and usually this is where most Protoss players go full Sky Toss. Showtime's done it before, and a few others though, and I actually think this is where you should have swapped back to mass ground and stayed on just 5 carriers. But you can see there, that's a lot more carriers. Just a few ground splash units joined in. Oh, abduct on a disruptor, abducting a stalker had to be an accident, but he's diving on the corrupt carriers. Massive, massive dive, and remember, he can just A-move now. He doesn't have to target fire because of the attack priority changes, and that really helps him out there. The corruptors take down every single carrier, and MaxPax doubting, no doubt, or regretting, I should say, that decision to go into air again. I really feel like this is where you want to stretch Serral out. He's got that perfect kind of stationary army of like Infestor, Viper, Broodlord, Corruptor. I mean, he actually hasn't shown a single Infestor yet, but it's Viper, Corruptor, Broodlord. I don't know if his Vipers survived. I think he might not have any left. He's going to have to rebuild those. Looks like some Tempests are being built. He went in, saw the Stargate was building a Tempest. For those who don't know, you can actually see the shape of it. Zergling's in the bottom side right now, picking off some cannons, getting some harassment done. Normally, late game, one of the advantages Zerg has is you can make very supply-efficient packs of Ling Bane and keep picking off their bases and economy. He's been so on the back foot. He hasn't had a chance to do anything but very light Zergling harassment in this game. If he starts to stabilize,
I'm still that high in thrones, so
the Ultras could be good.
But I guess I didn't make too many. But I don't have that many, I feel like.
He's struggling right now. There's a bit of doubt in Serral's voice. He's like, oh, I thought I didn't have too many of this unit, but I actually have more of them than I thought. Well, maybe not that many. I don't know. You can tell he's like, he's not fully comfortable in this situation. There's been enough chaos to throw him off his game. Lurker Ultra Ling in the north side. Those Lurkers almost as big as those Ultras, hilariously enough. He targets the battery first of all. Very well done. And then will just fight his way through those cannons. Nice moves by Serral. That's going to force a recall of the army. And he instantly pulls back. Nice moves.
Half recall there, to be honest.
Looks like a mostly ground-focused army, just with Tempest to focus Broodlord. So MaxPax has made a switch, but it's still a very one-directional army. I feel like clearing Overlords off the map right now on the edges would allow him to get Warp Prisms in the main. But Serral still has good edge vision on that minimap. And MaxPax has not really continued the multi-prong. No Blink DTs, no charge lots. Serral's very good against those moves, don't get me wrong. But I do think you should usually try to do something like that. Ultra's going to get some damage done down here. Very nice. And it feels like MaxPax is kind of said, okay, we're just going to play a slower late game. But he's going to lose a base on the bottom side. Serral's going to try and take an expansion right in front of it. If he can mine that base out, obviously MaxPax has the equivalent base on the top. That'll be good. Ooh, Void Ray run by. Watch out, Greatest Buyer. I don't know if he said anything back. Oh, he just got his Vipers feedbacks. Clicked back in a bit of an awkward angle. Big mistake. He's rebuilt 2 Vipers, but they'll take a while to get energy. That's actually very scary. Because if Protoss pushes when you don't have Vipers, there's only 4 Infestors. He says, my army's actually kind of crap at this moment. He's trying to act scary. He does land a fungal. Could take out that 1 High Templar that gets slowed down there, but oh man, this is not ideal for him.
That's a pretty big blunder. I could have lost the game there accidentally.
Says that was a pretty big blunder. I could have lost the game there. Not having Viper energy completely changes things. Lurkers take out a Zealot on the south side. These Lurkers will try to run away. The Stalkers chase them. Oh, but there's no mobile detection. And so the Stalkers can't quite finish those off. Looks like they finally do take that out on the bottom side. More Spores, more Spines. He's going to try and move this layer of defense forwards. But honestly, I feel like he needs the middle ground. In the middle of the map, there's an area just to the north of that base. That's what he really wants to hold on to. If you control the center of the board in a slow game like this, then you can actually really dictate where the fighting happens. You have many options of where to attack and defend from that center. If you lose center control, right now Protoss has it, of course, then the other player is going to really abuse the mobility. Right now, Serral's just hanging on. He does not have center control at all. Ultra Ling trying to break things down. Cannon battery does fall.
He's swapping his whole army there.
Serral's like, hey, I'm making him bring his whole army around. That's really all I need to do right now. He's still playing the buy time game. Remember, Serral is an efficiency king in this matchup. And if he can get a few more spellcasters, I really do have faith in that. He's got 5 queens on a control group. He has a pack of corruptors and Vipers. He split the Vipers away from them. He's leaving the Vipers on the south. Oh, and he's sending the corruptors to the north to deal with those air units. Okay, some nice fungals come down. Observer falls, as do some disruptors. And indeed, Ultras and Corruptors are in the north of the map. Interesting. Looks like he's going to morph some Banelings up there and roll it into that top base to try to break through. Banelings can blow up structures that are really grouped up, and that can be massive. The Banelings blow up the structures, the Ultras get in, especially if you get rid of the shield batteries and the clumped up ones. And he's going to go forwards on that north side. That's still a big, scary air army, though. He doesn't have that many Corruptors. Mama's looking for a recall into the main. That's why Mama's up there. She should pull back and cloak those buildings right now. You got to be careful of that recall in the main, though. Mama, oh, she showed this move, though. Big mistake for MaxPax. Serral catches it. He immediately sends the Corruptors to the north. His Corruptors will kill her before she can recall the army. MaxPax trying to shove on the front to punish for the Corruptors being out of position, but his whole army gets fungled. Broodlord's going ham right now. The Corruptors come back here. They've killed the mothership. Vipers are out of energy, but the Broodlords are doing work, as are those spellcasters. The air army gets out of there. Serral hangs on at home. He's got a giant bank. And notice he's not instantly remaxing, guys. He's got to make sure he has the right ratio of units. So he takes a second there, and he kind of goes, okay, how many units are doing run-bys? How much is Lingbane Ultra? This is that advantage I talked about that Zerg have with the mobility. And how much is going to be in Corruptors, Broodlords, Infestors, and Vipers. Serral was really on the back foot this whole early game, constantly complaining. That whole phase where they were pushing in at this area on his third base, that was a very scary time where a lot of Zerg players would have crumbled. Even now, MaxPax is still in his face, but I do wonder what could have been different if those Overlords in the top of the map got cleaned up and we saw a Warp Prism in his main base. I feel like Hero or Estrella would definitely have been probing that by now. MaxPax, watch out. He's on the bottom of the map, Serral. Serral. Okay, he realizes his Corruptors are already there. And he says, bad move, buddy. Oh, look at that. Corruptors are so fast, man. Even Speed Rays can't escape. Quickly pulls back, though. Whenever MaxPax does these run-bys, he tries to catch Serral out of position with his Corruptors and punish him for that. Is that probes? Ooh, probes in the north of the map getting thrown away there. Looks like MaxPax wants a bit more army supply. He's still got Stalkers in his army, which are a rather trash tier unit. They're not very useful in a big battle. Ooh, that hatchery goes down one more time. Then again, the Ultraling Bane isn't going to be amazing either. Oh, these observers just keep coming forward. Queens trying to stop those Void Rays from rotating. One of them goes down, one of them gets by. Queens should be able to defend that on their own, though. The Spire upgrades, I believe, are complete at 3-3. I think he's got ground upgrades at 3-3 as well. MaxPax trying to steal his expansion. Those drones trying to come back. Serral did just order the Queens to transfuse that drone. I kid you not. I don't think they got it off in time, but that's just the tiny little details that he does without even thinking about them, which for us seem like a crazy thing to focus on when there's so much going on. Tempest firing from the back. Corruptors looking for a bit of a flank. The mothership making it very difficult. Another observer comes in, and each one of those is 75 gas. That's 25 minerals, 75 gas. Every 100 resource does matter. Ooh, Ultra Ling runs in. Only 4 cannons on the south side. Forcing more units like Zealots to be warped in and Stalkers is always going to be a win for Serral. Those units don't trade very well versus Cracklings and 3-3 Ultralisks. Mama's going for the main again. You got to catch that. You don't want to let that recall in there. But he's quick on top of it. Oh, it ends up being a bait, though. Get out, get out, get out. Oh, God, the time warp.
What am I doing, man? That was so bad.
Serral says that was so bad, man.
He can just push right through me right now.
Oh, he says he can just push right through me.
Luckily, he has Tempest, though. His army is
He lost about 10 Corruptors. Serral's saying, luckily, MaxPax is playing Tempest. Tempests aren't a high damage unit. If it was just Carrier Void Ray, he feels he could get pushed right now. But you know what? Mama may have been a bit of a bait. She may have tricked him into coming too deep. He hangs on. MaxPax is still scared away. That is not an important base for him to lose. The Ultraling's doing a lot of damage behind it. MaxPax needs to stabilize at home. And I got to ask the question, where is the Void Ray? There we go. There's the Void Ray. The Chad Ray comes down. I mean, those run-bys never shoot up. A single Void Ray or Carrier down there will defend them eventually. And you really need to leave at least one Void Ray just on duty to make those moves way more expensive for Serral. Dude, the patience is insane. It's also the micro in these big fights, which I can barely fathom. I can barely fathom the micro in these big fights. These armies. So he's got the Ling Ultra backstab key. If you watch the bottom wireframe, he's got the Broodlord key, the Infestor key.
He's still here, actually.
And then he's got a Corruptor Viper control group and a Queen control group as well, by the way. Oh my god. So he's got like 5 or 6 active army groups essentially in this scenario that he's cycling through. Queens is the lowest priority. He's often not using those in a big battle. But if he gets really, really on point, he's done his other tasks, he'll start dropping transfuses as well.
The observers play actively.
Getting rid of these observers has done pretty well. He's actually mining this base in the bottom, which is cool. So MaxPax gets the top of the map. He gets the bottom.
I guess I killed his...
If the Ultra Bane can take that base out, he's going to be pretty happy with that. The Lings are going in on the natural of MaxPax right now. These spores are pretty far forward, but he doesn't have vision up the ramp. And I keep talking about it, but just down here, bottom right, I feel like there's this area just below where his army is now, where it would be so good if he had his spores up there on the high ground, because that would give him center control. He's just below it on the low ground down a ramp with these spores, but if he could just move those down and to the right a little bit or up and to the right, then he'll be in between MaxPax bases. And I actually think MaxPax needs to get a move on and break those spore crawler positions, because he's moving into creep. He's moving into vision of Serral. Serral will take advantage with a big wave of fungals. Broodlord's coming in. Parasitic Bomb on the Void Rays, and he immediately pulls back. Parasitic Bomb on the right side of the Tempest and on the left side of the Void Rays. The Corruptors are pulling back. They want to wait for those spells to do the damage. They come in when they see MaxPax running away. Get rid of that sub-alert. Ah! Comes on in. Neural's going down. Focuses down a lot of those units. And, of course, the carrier that was Neural gets taken out. Great fight for Serral. And that was the advantage that he had there of getting the initiation fungals off. The High Templar were trapped in the back. They couldn't feed back. They couldn't storm. Oh, the top base didn't get cannons up at it either. Serral is honestly such a patient freak. He just sits there and absorbs punch after punch after punch. And eventually Protoss makes a slip up. He crushes an engagement. And he's still got 22,000 resources in the bank. That is wild. I'm not good at numbers. 20,000. Shh. Shut up. Shut up, nerds. I'm not good at counting, okay? I only play video games and talk about them. Anyways, Broodlord Infested Corruptor try to pull back right now. Fungal's going to land. Those Void Rays looking a little scary. He really needs the Parasitic Bomb. Parasitic Bomb is the game changer against Void Rays, for those who don't know. Lings in the main base causing a bit of a ruckus, but the Broodlords were able to escape. Good job for the Infestors to cover them there on that retreat. Oh, these spores might go down. Broodlord's going to try and make him pay for it at least. Gets an Archon. Nice fungal, traps a Disruptor. Can he get another Archon? Oh, he gets it with the fungal, but let's see. Oh my god. Oh, he gets another Archon. Very nice. He's taking out a lot of the production. Does feel like MaxPax, I don't know if he's F2ing a bit too much or he's just not building enough layers of cannon battery, but I think you got to leave a Void Ray to deal with those sorts of attacks. And he wasn't doing it a lot of the time. They often had an Overseer, so anyone saying, why doesn't he have DTs? I'm sure there is someone thinking that. There was always an Overseer on the control group. Look when he selects the Ultra Ling down the bottom. It's Ultras, 3 Ultras, and there's 1 Overseer picture. It's kind of blocked by me, so not the best casting. Sorry, guys. I should probably move myself over a little bit, hey. Pig! Just a tiny bit. I don't want to block the map, though. Anyways, here we go. Big fight coming in. Disruptor shot goes to the left side. Ooh, Broodlord's getting some shots off. He doesn't want to lose this base for free, but he also doesn't want to headbutt. Big fungal. Can he get a parasitic bomb in there? Can he get some bees in there? Oh, I think he got one off, but he did lose his Vipers. Good spready here, but so many Tempests. Tempests aren't good in a pitched battle, and he's actually neuraled the Archons, so the Archons were being used against the Protoss as well. He holds onto the base, kills most of those air army. MaxPax coming in for more. The Void Rays are still prismatically aligned, though. You do not want to stand and fight prismatically aligned Void Rays. He's making Banelings. He wants to smash that top base, but it has a giant wall of cannons in front of it. He'll need a lot of Banelings, and he does end up losing the base, but I think Protoss paid a lot of money for that. We'd love to know the bank situation. I would guess Protoss is about 10k resources in the bank, maybe 8k. Serral's still at about 18,000. So I think he's up about 8 to 10,000 resources overall right now in what's banked. And, oh, Banelings do take out the battery overcharge, but the Ultras have to pull back for the Zealots. And it looks like he's trying to retake the top left and the bottom right, but oh god, oh god, oh god! Oh no, Broodlord's ambushed. He gets a Void Ray. He gets 2. Can he turn this to his favor? Serral with some very good fighting and running. He's actually gathering energy off his Hive right now in his main. His Hive is already deep red. He's got to be careful. He's been grabbing energy off so many of his own buildings that a few of them are very close to dying. I think it'll take one more consume to kill his Hive. Oh, let's hear. What did he say?
I mean, it's game. I think I'm pretty much won this game already. I'm just making it dramatic at the end here.
Yeah, he says, I think I already pretty much won this game. I'm just making it a bit
Making it
dramatic at the
dramatic.
end. He's not implying that he's accidentally not winning. He's just saying, I'm making some mistakes. I did win the last few fights. He knows this is probably the last Protoss army. Apparently, I thought there was 10k in the bank for Protoss and this would go longer, but apparently he's done enough economic damage. He's so good at keeping track of it. He knows he's been so much more efficient that Protoss can't afford to remax. Oh my god, that's a lot of Void Rays though. Oh my god, but they can't run into the fungal parasitic bomb. But he doesn't have any Viper energy. Oh, he's got one. He's got one. And notice, guys, when he sends the Vipers back, he removes them from his Corruptor Viper control group. He leaves the one high energy Viper with the Corruptors. That's what he's so good about doing. And I think what he does is he shift clicks them to consume and then move back to a set point, which he knows he'll come back to in about 30 seconds to a minute. Grab those Vipers, add them back to his control group. That's really cool. What an amazing habit, because how many people out there have their Corruptors and Vipers on a hotkey, they tell the Vipers to consume, but then the enemy army pushes and they go, oh, and they pull their Corruptor key over, and then they all stop consuming, and they've got a bunch of low energy Vipers that rock up to the front and say, you know, reporting for duty, by the way, sir, we don't have ammo or weapons. And you're like, seriously? Oh, damn. So this is actually a really cool habit that Serral's built for himself. Tries to burrow the Ultra to hide it from those Void Rays. This is a giant Void Ray force, which is exceptionally weak to fungal parasitic bomb. It's all about the Zerg Spellcaster Wombo combo. Let's go! He's going to land it. Okay, he takes out the Tempest. He says, come and fight. MaxPax is so afraid of it. He's trying to pre-spread the Void Rays, but look at that. Fungal on some of them. Parasitic bomb on the right side. Good spready from MaxPax. But you know what? Anytime he tries to chase, they clump like crazy. And that is where the fungal parasitic bomb absolutely pays the bills. Oh, beautiful play. Another parasitic bomb. He's so good at doing the in and out. A lot of people say Serral doesn't seem like that much of a naughty character, but I see the way he does the in and out in this matchup with those spellcasters, and I think he must have a gifted touch with the ladies. GG, well played. And that is the face of a man who just played a 33-minute gruel fest. Please show us the units lost tab, brother. No, he's not going to. Beautiful play. Oh my god. He got to 7,069 MMR from that game, guys. Very nice. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. It's such a treat to watch Serral's first-person view and watch the god in action. And I love how so many things that have my jaw agape going, you are such a god. He's like, I'm messing this up. But you can see the years of experience playing those 3-hour series against Trap and the like, where he's rotating his units to the front and the back. I mean, he's just such a deep expert at it. And it really is a scary thing to play him in the late game in ZVP. GG, well played there for Serral. I do think maybe the one weakness was Warp Prisms in the back and a bit more mobility earlier when MaxPax was ahead and had the tempo going for him. I do think swapping into the full air battle versus Serral for more than one wave is always a mistake because he's such a master. I think you actually, as the Protoss player, want to be a bit more nimble and tech switch around him using a really heavy Gateway and Stargate count. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next one. Goodbye and good night.